Today, an investigative story published by Reuters details how WellPoint, a medical insurance industry, as a matter of fact, the nation's largest insurance company, with 33.7 million policyholders, used a special computer program to systematically identify women with breast cancer and target their health policies for termination. In other words, an effort to specifically target women with breast cancer and then drop their health insurance. I'd like to ask every American to read this jaw-dropping story. Instead of providing the health care for which these seriously ill women had paid, WellPoint subjected these paying customers to investigations that ended with WellPoint's administrative bureaucrats canceling their insurance policies at their time of greatest need. Under attack by both cancer and WellPoint, these women were left ailing, disabled, and broke. Let me give you a few examples. Jenny Sue, a woman from Los Angeles, was kicked off of her insurance policy after a breast cancer diagnosis because WellPoint said she failed to disclose that she had been exposed to hepatitis B as a child. Now, that has nothing to do with breast cancer, but it didn't stop WellPoint from terminating her coverage. In Texas, a woman named Robert Beaton was forced to delay life-saving surgery because WellPoint decided to investigate whether she had failed to disclose a serious illness. The serious illness in question was a case of acne. WellPoint delayed her surgery for 5 months, causing the size of the cancerous mass in her breast to triple. By the time they finally dropped their investigation, she needed a radical double mastectomy. Another loyal, paying WellPoint customer who faced this situation was Patricia Relling of Louisville, Kentucky. Ms. Relling was an interior designer and art gallery owner who never missed a payment. But that didn't stop WellPoint from canceling her insurance in the middle of her fight with breast cancer. WellPoint abandoned her at her weakest moment, forcing her to pay enormous medical bills on her own. This woman, who was once a highly successful business owner, is now subsisting on Social Security and food stamps. Meanwhile, WellPoint made a profit of $128 million by stripping seriously ill Americans of their insurance coverage in this manner, according to the House Energy and Commerce Committee. And this is likely a low estimate because WellPoint refuses to provide a total number of rescissions across the company's subsidiaries. WellPoint earned a $4.7 billion profit in 2009, $4.7 billion profit in 1 year. Angela Braly, the CEO of WellPoint, received $13.1 million in total compensation in 2009. This was a 51% increase in her salary over the prior year. If there was any doubt about whether corporate greed has anything to do with WellPoint's plan to jack up rates on customers, I think today's story by Reuters answers the question definitively. In order to prevent these kinds of unfair premium rate hikes on Americans, I have introduced a bill that would establish a health insurance rate authority. It would give the Secretary of Health the mandate to see that rates are reasonable. Here's what my bill would do. We'd give the Secretary of Health the authority to block premium or other rate increases that are unreasonable. In many states, insurance commissioners, as you know, Madam President, already have this authority. They would not be affected. Where commissioners have the authority in some states, in some insurance markets they have it, and in others they do not. And in about 20 states, including my own, California, companies are not required to receive approval for rate increases before they take effect. So my legislation would create a federal fallback, a fail-safe, allowing the Secretary to conduct reviews of potentially unreasonable rates in states where the insurance commissioner does not already have the authority or the capability to do so. The Secretary would review potentially unreasonable premium increases and take corrective action. This could include blocking an increase or providing rebates to consumers. We have a duty to protect the American people from this kind of greed and this kind of lack of any moral compass. You know, if these companies were having a hard time, I would say, look, it can't be helped. But they're not. They have enjoyed something no other American business has, and that is an antitrust exemption. Only Major League Baseball has an antitrust exemption. And so they are able to go all over the country and merge and acquire insurance companies in order to control market share. And once they control market share, they then begin to boost rates. And therefore, they have developed, over the past 7 years of doing this, a 428% increase in their bottom line, which is their profits. If a CEO thinks it's okay to deprive women of their health coverage when they become seriously ill with breast cancer, we can't trust them to do the right thing, period. This ought to be convincing to every member of this body, whether it's this side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle, that we need to move to see that there is a reasonable, prudent system where people don't have to endure when they have breast cancer and they go in, that they are going to lose their medical insurance. We've got to protect the American people from this kind of a lack of moral compass and, candidly, unchecked greed.